Hello, my name is Bill Haley, and this is part of my 3-minute introduction series into Haley 2024, the movement's government reform ideas. This one I couldn't get under 3 minutes because there's just so much I wanted to get into on this one subject, so I'm limited to 8 minutes on this one. This one's not going to get into the reform because I really want to talk about the reasons for the reform. Now, Haley 2024 and the movement's reforms are a lot of things dealing with all the areas of government, but this one's going to be on education and how the public school system is currently structured is unconstitutional. On its face, it is overwhelmingly unconstitutional. It's not just a little bit. It's not just one little case law where you might be able to fit it in. It is on its face overwhelmingly unconstitutional. A longer video, we'll get into the case law over the last 100 years or so. But let's get into the given facts. These facts should always be considered when evaluating U.S. Supreme Court's test of constitutionality. So very important that you understand. I'm going to go through 7 real quick. Government at the federal, state, and local levels collects high levels of taxes. Very important from everyone. Everyone's super important here. They don't just collect it from people outside, within the public school system. They collect it from people who send their children to the private school system and who went to the private school system themselves as children and students. It's hugely important that we understand it's everyone. And it's also very important to know how the extent of taxes it needs to collect to fund the public school system. $1.1 trillion all across all of America, over 110 million households, equals about $10,000 per household of yearly taxes for life. It's a huge burden. Everybody's paying those taxes. And I say it's on average, the rich pay more than the poor, understandably, but it's a huge burden on everyone. Okay, 100% of those funds go to the public school system. That might sound just obvious. Why not? They run that system. Why should they be paying for a system they don't run? I understand that. It's a big, important fact. But that denies a benefit to the parents that do not enroll their children in the public school system. That's the highly relevant fact to what I'm talking about here. The public school system offers all parents opportunity for their K through 12 age child to attend the public school system. That's obvious. I understand that. That's a given. These are given facts. At roughly $150,000 over those K through 12 years. So $12,000 a year, I did that about an average, over the 13 years is roughly $150,000. I had 4 children. That's $600,000 the government offered me, well, they offered to spend on my behalf because my child's education is my responsibility, but the government offered to pay that for me, $150,000. That's a huge benefit. $600,000 when you look at over all 4 kids. Huge benefit. But I did not take it. I relinquished that benefit because I did not want to give up the parental rights. Let's look at this one. When parents enroll their children in the public school system, the parents no longer maintain their parental and constitutional rights to direct their children's education during the 13,000 hours in the public school system. 6 hours a day times 180 days a year times 12 years is roughly 13,000. That's just a rough number there. Do they have, a lot of people will say, no, they don't have to give up their parental and constitutional rights. Yes, they do. Let's go over the rights and constitutional rights and parental rights they have to give up. Who's going to exercise the right of association in the highly relevant teacher-student relationship? That's one of the most essential, most important associations parents can hold for their children, can direct for their children. So government administrators exercise their relinquished parental rights of association by determining who will be in a highly relevant association as a teacher with the public school enrolled child. So, how important is that? I mean, ask yourself, if you send your child to the public school system, do you get to have any control over who your child's associated with as a teacher-student relationship? No, a government administrator does. Now, can you say that if I send my child to the private school down the street, they control that? Yes, but I chose the school. That's so incredibly important. I can choose a lot of different schools, and based off of who they're associating my child with is one of the big determining factors on what school I will choose as a private school. Now, I chose homeschool, so I chose to have my child associated with myself and my wife. Anyway, let's keep on going on. But that's obviously, parents don't hold that right anymore when they enroll their children in the public school system. Let's look at a couple other rights. Government administrators also exercise the following relinquished rights: the selection of schools, highly important; the choice of curriculums. You can't just go in there as a public school parent and say, I want you to use this curriculum or that curriculum. No, they have a curriculum. They get to choose it. The set of worldviews, highly relevant, super important. That goes into every aspect of teaching and what worldview they are teaching with. I don't get to have that say. The teacher has to do, if there's 30 parents over the 30 students in a classroom, what teacher gets to have that say? What parent gets to have that say? No, it's the government administrators that have that say. If me and my neighbor down the street and everybody else, all 30 parents say, I want this worldview taught, well, obviously they can't teach all 30. Highly important. The decision regarding the collection of morals. What's the foundation of morals? If it's not the Bible, if it's not the religious text of your family faith, what is the foundation of morals? If that cannot be taught, are we really teaching morals? Are we teaching a very bad version of the morals? If you don't have the foundation, the morals mean nothing. There's a lot of other parental decisions that parents surrender when they enroll their children in the public school system. Let's talk about the most important. Government administrators teach in a secular environment. That's obvious. That's a given. Nobody can deny that. Necessarily monopolizing over 1,000 hours a year. We already went over 1,000 hours a year, 180 days in a year, 6 hours a day. Those hours are monopolized by government officials. These are some of the most essential hours in which to inculcate your children in their family faith. Whether it's Catholic or Muslim or Jewish or Christian, or all the different denominations of Christian, you do not have those hours to inculcate your family faith. And they are inculcating a secular faith. This yields a deep secular inculcation. Now, do some children escape the public school system or get through the public school system with their family faith? Yes, they do. Is it as strong as it would have been if that family faith was instilled over and over and over again, several times a day, throughout every day in the public school system, where they're doing book reports on the Bible or whatever religious text that they believe in? No. Inculcation means instilling over time, repetitively, instilling that set of values. Anyway, as you see here, I have a lot of case law I'm going to do on a much longer video, and we'll get into that. But look at my webpage and try to find the other video with a case law. Thanks a lot.